Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ayer Select Board meeting for Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. We could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no announcements this evening. Were there any amendments to the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend under the town manager's report to add a number 7 for the information technology reserve fund transfer in the amount of $14,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Agenda is approved as amended. The first thing up for this evening is the recognition of the Ayer Shirley Regional School District Superintendent, Dr. Mary Malone.
We're not pleased to be alive anymore. We don't know what to do.
Robert, do you want to say a few words?
Okay, through the chair and the select board, good evening, Dr. Malone. And on behalf of the select board and the town of Ayer, we want to congratulate you on your retirement. But most importantly, thank you for your years of service to the Ayer Shirley Regional School District as the superintendent over the last 7 years. Your contributions to the district have made a positive difference, not only for the town, but for the thousands of children that you impacted over those 7 years. And I know you've been a professional educator for far longer than that. And perhaps that's the greatest legacy one leaves. On a personal note, it's always been a pleasure to work with you. I know that you saw the completion of the high school project. Recently, the successful passage finally for the Fields project, implemented all kinds of modern best practice curriculum throughout the school, increase the faculty and administration in all of the programs. So tonight, I know the board wants to make some presentations and thank you for your service and wish you all the best on your retirement.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
On behalf of the board, I'd like to give you the certificate of recognition. Thank you for your years of service.
Very much. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, please accept these as our sincere gratitude
Thank you.
for all the work you've done.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been an honor to serve here for 7 years. You know, when you transplant yourself from another city, town, and you move into a town where you don't know anyone, in a regional district with 2 towns learning town government. I came from municipality. There was a huge learning curve, and I am so appreciative of the support that I was provided by Robert and of course Chief Murray and Chief Pedazzi and all the elected officials in both towns, and of course those in the school department as well. And it helped grow our school district, and it helped make the school district what it is today, which is a much stronger school district. And I'm very proud of the work, collective work of all of the educators, administrators, elected officials in both towns. We all have the same goal, which was to provide the students in Ayer and Shirley excellent education, which they could thrive and grow into productive adults. And I think we've accomplished that in the last 7 years. I do anticipate will continue. So thank you very much for your support of education. I appreciate it. Very much.
May I do a picture with the board?
Sure, absolutely.
Do you want to do it?
Maybe right over there.
With the robot.
Yeah, with the robot. Okay.
Robert, can you just push that chair over? Okay, then you can. He was itching
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
He was itching to, I could tell. There you go. I'll
Thank
send
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you again for everything. Oh, thank you very much. It's nice, what's in the picture?
Also, sorry, we're yelling. We only have that weird microphone. It's not how we usually have our meetings. Our next item on the agenda is the recognition of the Air Police Chief, William Murray. On behalf of the Air Select Board and the town of Ayer, we want to congratulate Chief Murray on his retirement after a distinguished 34.5-year career in law enforcement, of which 33.5 were in dedicated service to the town of Ayer. We have a few special presentations and presenters for this evening. As the chair, on behalf of the select board, I'd like to present you with a certificate, a recognition for your special service, as well as a small token of our appreciation. Janice?
You come up? One should never forget the person who's sitting at home, worried, hoping that everything's going to be okay. You provided the strength for him to be able to do his job, and that can never be taken lightly. Okay? So on behalf of the town, we appreciate everything you did and for loaning us your husband all these years. Thank you.
I'm supposed to read this to you. So, my first time. This is a certificate of recognition that is presented to William A. Murray, Chief of Police, in valuable recognition of your 33+ years of dedicated service to the Air Police Department. The Air Police Department has grown and evolved under your steadfast leadership. Ayer is a safer and better place because of you. On behalf of the residents of the town of Ayer, the select board expresses its sincere gratitude, appreciation, and well wishes for a well-deserved retirement of health and happiness. Signed, the Ayer Select Board.
So we were asked to read an official communication from the Air Police Superior Officers Union from Sergeant Cody and Sergeant Eric Pearson, dated June 15th, 2021. Dear Chief Murray, the members of NEPVA Local 32 would like to personally congratulate you on your retirement from the Air Police Department. We enjoyed working with you during our time here and consider you not only a valuable asset to the agency, but a memorable presence in the office as well. While you will be missed by all of us at the Air Superior Officers Union, you sincerely deserve your retirement. Your hard work and diligence have greatly benefited our membership. It is our hope that the remaining employees and supervisors here will strive to follow your stellar example. Your contributions to the overall success and daily operation of the department have been duly noted. Our successes as a team are as a direct result of the guidance you provided, and you will be sorely missed. It was always our pleasure to work with you, so while we are saddened to see you go, we are confident that you will find more success and happiness in retirement than as you experienced during your time here. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. Retirement will surely offer you many new opportunities, which we know you will embrace wholeheartedly, just as you did within the police department. As you move into the next phase of your life, we leave you with the profound words of President Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and tears, who strives valiantly. You have spent yourself in a worthy cause of public service. You are and will always be a permanent part of the proud history of the Air Police Department. For many years, you are the man in the arena and most definitely deserve the credit. Please keep in touch and visit often if you find you have time. We hope you have fun and fruitful retirement. Best wishes, members of the Air Police Superiors Officer Union, Local 32, Sergeant Austin Coe, Sergeant John McDonald, Sergeant Eric Pearson, and Sergeant Andrew Kletzky.
At this time, our town manager would like to formally congratulate Chief Murray.
Chief, it's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you over the last 11 years. When I first came to Ayer, my predecessor said, we have an excellent police chief and an excellent fire chief. Then Chief Pedrazi, who's here tonight, we have an excellent chief now, Chief Johnston as well. He said he'll do an excellent job. He won't have any trouble. And that's true. And I can't believe it's been 11 years. And you are to be commended and congratulated on a distinguished 34.5-year career in law enforcement, of which 33.5 are dedicated to the town of Ayer. And I just wanted to highlight some of the things that happened under your leadership over the last 11 years. You and I and the board working together, and also all of the offices that are here. I know you've always taken a team approach, and it's the whole department. But some of the highlights in no particular order under the leadership of Chief Murray. He expanded the size of the patrol and dispatch forces over the last 11 years. The creation of the Regional Dispatch Center with Shirley, which has been a regional success for both towns. The creation of the Records Department Clerk position, creation of the Chief Succession Plan and the Deputy Chief position, which came from the leadership of Chief Murray. And as we saw at the last meeting, we're able to implement that with Deputy Chief, soon to be Chief Gill. The implementation of the School Resource Officer, integration of the animal control into the police department, the development and attainment of the police department accreditation. I know we're just about there, and you're going to see us through on that. Participation in leadership with NEMLAC. Your steady leadership has guided the department through so many things that the public is probably not aware of, and that's probably a good thing. And your steady leadership took the department through COVID-19, which really had to be sort of your final year and the leadership. And your support and participation in countless community events and initiatives over the years, not just the past 11, but those 33.5 years to Ayer. There's too many to list, and you're to be commended. And so in conclusion, I would say that Ayer is a safer and better community thanks to your leadership and contributions. And that's the most important legacy, I think, that anybody can leave after a distinguished career. So want to wish you all the best, Chief, health and happiness in your retirement. Thank you.
This evening, we're joined by State Senator Janie Eldridge, who would like to offer official congratulations from the legislature to Chief Murray.
Thank you so much. So good evening, everyone. And I want to offer my regrets from Representative Dan Cena and Representative Sheila Harrington. They're still in session right now voting, so unfortunately couldn't be here to extend their remote voting. So I first just want to say, I didn't realize she would be honored too. I just want to thank Superintendent Malone for her service as someone who represents both Ayer and Shirley. And it's been an honor to work with you and see the schools and the communities come together. So congratulations to you. And Chief Murray, it's been an honor to serve with you as well. When I think about how much the town of Ayer has grown and really come together in so many ways and really thrived. People need to be secure in their homes. They need to be secure in their businesses. They need to have a sense of security with one another, with their neighbors. And so I want to thank you for your leadership with the Ayer Police Department. The comments of municipal officials here really speak to your very able and dedicated service. And so I have a citation here from the State Senate, and it says, be it hereby known that the Massachusetts State Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Police Chief William A. Murray in recognition of your 34 years of dedicated service to the town of Ayer, and be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success. So I'm so glad we can do this in person. Congratulations and best wishes.
We are also joined this evening by several area police chiefs who are present to offer their sincere congratulations to Chief Murray. I'm asked the town manager to introduce them.
Good evening. We're joined by 3 chiefs from our region that are good colleagues of Chief Murray. In no particular order, first we have Police Chief David Scott of the town of Pepper.
Same word. You come prepared. I was just sitting quietly in that. Bill has always been a steady person that I can call anytime I needed some advice, some counsel. I'm certainly gonna miss that. And I'm certainly gonna miss the fact that you were the longest tenured chief around. I think that falls to me now, unfortunately. But congratulations and best of luck.
Next, we have Police Chief Matthew Bernard of the town of Littleton. Chief.
I'm sorry. Bill, buddy. I don't know what to say. I really don't. When you called me and told me you were going to leave, you were ready to retire, I was taken back as Bill was one of my first sergeants when I started here at Ayer, 1994 as a reserve. Worked under your guidance and direction for a while. And the only reason I did that was you didn't catch me in high school. But
You ran that night.
I know, I didn't know I stayed. It wasn't me. But honestly, you've been great for me my last 3 years as chief. It would be able to just pick the phone up and call, and you've always answered and gave some sound advice. And I just wish you the best in your retirement. I really do. Daddy, good luck.
Thank you, Chief. And then Police Chief Michael Luth of the town of Groton.
They've already said it all, but I was lucky enough to know Bill before I was police chief, and more than once, on many occasions, I've had to call for him for guidance, and that continued as my early tenure as a chief. And his experience has been invaluable for the area chiefs are pretty low in tenure compared to him. Seen it, we have, he's been a great guy, unfortunately. Thank you.
So at this time, Chief Murray, would you like to say a few words?
And so. Didn't expect this, tonight. Such an honor to work this time. With my heart, soul food. I'll carry that on when he leaves. For the chiefs. I went up these guys and these guys I don't want to care to mention. My staff, as you said, everything we do is as a team. Nobody shines. Half of obviously, you're probably some of the most over the years that have been around when they needed me. It's been an honor. Every person in town, say goodbye. Thank you.
Yeah, he needs to get it.
Myself.
Robert, and Senator Eldridge, do you want to drop in?
Yeah, like, different. Everybody, my wife Kathy, if you haven't met her, my son Brian, my daughter Megan, and Erica.
And Caitlin is on.
So good to see you. Good to have you around.
We're not sure if we're letting away the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry.
She's like, "Kick you out." I was wondering why else they like-
Yeah, okay. Yep. Oh, wow. Are you here again? You're right. Yep. And when did you move to Ayer? Okay.
Good. All right, our next item up is for public input. Is there anybody online?
I'm gonna ask for my time.
Yeah. Just for, is there anybody online for public input? Okay, not hearing any, and move on to the next item, which is Mark Wetzel, the superintendent of the Department of Public Works. Good evening, Mark.
Hello, let me get stuff moving. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And Dan Van Schalkwyk, town engineer. Dan actually is going to lead most of the discussion.
Yep.
His agenda item, so I'll let Dan take over.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. I hope you hear me well. Yeah, so our first item that the DPW has on the agenda is a stormwater asset management grant funding. So the town was awarded a grant fund for stormwater asset management plan, and it's administered through the Clean Water SRF program. And so with that comes some paperwork. So the grant is for $72,750. But in order to process the grant paperwork, I've attached a certifying authority to file for signature by the board, and it basically will allow the town manager to file the application. So that's for signature by the board.
Any questions on that? No questions. Okay, no questions, yeah.
I'll make a motion that the select board authorize the town manager with the ability to file the application for the Clean Water SRF program grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Okay. All right, item number 2 is the approval of change order 1 for the Wright Road Water Main Replacement Project. So the project is actually complete. There might be a little bit of paving left out there to do, but the water main is installed and the new services are up and running. So this is the end of the project. We have a change order for $24,392.55. And the bulk of that was that we added in a hydrant replacement on Sedgeway, which at the dead end of Sedgeway had been bagged and not working for a while because vehicles would bump into it, you know, even like Amazon trucks that drive down and turn around at the end of the road. So we relocated that hydrant and it's up and running now. So the change order is for signature by the chair.
No questions? No questions. Okay, take a motion.
I'll make a motion that the board approve change order 1 for Wright Road Water Main Replacement Project in the amount of $24,392.55.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
And I'd like just to make a comment that this is, you know, we try to do between 1,000 and 2,000 feet of water main every year to replace our aging pipe. This pipe out on Westford Road, we've had 3 leaks in the past 5 years on. One of them actually, a car fell in the hole that was created. So, you know, that's part of our goal is to make the system more reliable. And also that's a fairly vulnerable street because if we do have a break on it, it's a long one-way road with a lot of residents on it. And if we're working in the middle of the road, then people can't get out and the fire trucks can't get in. So, so this is just part of our annual water main upgrade project. And I think it's been pretty successful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Those are good comments. The third item on the DPW agenda or in the memo, execution of a contract for Westford Road sewer replacement. So we received general bids for this project on June 9th, and they ranged from $165,100 to $220,400. And Commonwealth Construction Utilities, Inc., who we've worked with in the past, is the apparent low bidder. And if you'll remember, Mark gave a presentation on April 20th to the board about the issues on the sewer main out here. So we recommend executing the contract with Commonwealth Construction Utilities for the $165,100, and that's for signature by the board.
Any questions? No. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve, excuse me, to award the contract to Commonwealth Construction Utilities Incorporated from Massachusetts for the Westford Road Water Sewer Replacement Project in the amount of $165,100.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it passes.
So I'll discuss the next item. The town manager had asked us to put together a list of our all the ongoing construction projects or upcoming construction projects for this year. So we have a list, and I will share my screen and put up the list. So what we did was we put together all the projects that we're involved with, that not necessarily our Department of Public Works projects, but we have some role in. And I also have a map that will show those that I'll put up in a second. But I jotted down the total cost of just the DPW projects is about $14 million. So you can see Dan and I are pretty busy in the summer, keeping track of all the projects. We do a lot of these design within in-house, design and bid them, which saves significant amount of money. That contract that that you just executed for Westford Road, Dan, myself, and our engineering intern, I think we did that in what, 4 days, Dan? So
Yeah.
we cranked it right out because it was such an important and emergency project. And if we had hired an engineering firm, it would have cost about $20,000 to $25,000 to do that size project. So we're by doing stuff in-house, we're saving significant amounts of money. So some of these projects here that we have, like I said, we just approved the Wright Road water main. That's pretty much all done. We have the Spec Pond PFAS treatment plant's about 40% completed. It's a pretty tough site, and it's pretty there's a lot of moving pieces to it, but hopefully that'll be online by the end of the year. We've got a water main loop that we've been working on for a couple of years now on Jonathan Drive. There's a lot of coordination and permitting. I think we had to have a vote at town meeting, and now we have to, because we're crossing the rail trail, need to get legislative approval to cross the rail trail. We've got the infiltration sewer repairs. We're going to be actually doing a section of Main Street tomorrow morning, so you might have some traffic delays there. The wastewater treatment plant upgrade will get going later on this month. Right Way wastewater pumping station, we're working with Stratton Hill developer on upgrading that project, so they're going to fund a fair amount of that. We're starting paving on Mulberry Circle in probably 2 weeks, and High Street will be sometime later this summer. Groton Shirley Road, we're working on getting that ready for paving. One of the issues out there, if you're familiar with Groton Shirley Road, it's kind of a cut-through road from Groton School Road over to Fitchburg Road, so they get a lot of traffic. And what we're concerned about is once we pave it, that you're going to have cars going 50 to 60 miles an hour down the road. So I've looked at a number of traffic calming strategies, and I'll be having a neighborhood meeting to get some input from the people out there, so that they understand that it's going to be a little bit difficult to keep the traffic slow out there, but we'll have probably some different options with some speed signs and speed limits painted on the road and things like that. We're going to do a number of stormwater improvements around town, and then and I don't know if the town planner is going to bring these up, but we have a number of private development projects around town that the engineering department gets involved with, not only reviewing the plans, but also making sure that the construction meets the town standards. Some of these are farther along than others, but they're all major projects that we have to have some impact on. And I know Robert mentioned Dr. Malone's involvement with the field improvements, and so she's asked me to be on the committee to help with the engineering on that project. She has a really top-notch company designing it, but they need some local coordination, so I've been giving them information on plans and utilities and things like that. And then the other major project that I think the board's aware of is the Catania Spagna project, which will significantly change the stormwater management in that part of town. So we need to really keep an eye on that and make sure that it's a successful project. I'll put so we did a map of the project, and of all the projects. We can put this up on the town website. You can see we're kind of spread all over town with different projects, and we try not to have every road in town dug up at once, but it looks like we're going to do a pretty good job digging up roads this year. Do you have anything to add, Dan?
No, I can't see the map. It might just be me, but I don't know if
Oh.
anyone else.
Says,
I don't know.
I'm screen sharing.
Yeah, no, I think that. But as far as the projects go, yeah, that covers it. There, yeah, there is a lot going on.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
for you to the board as well, the town planner, Mark Archibald, is also actually in the in-person audience, and in your packet, he also submitted a matrix of projects, and there is some overlap, obviously, between the DPW matrix and here. So between Superintendent Wetzel, the town engineer, and Mr. Archibald, if there are any questions on the projects. There's a lot going on.
yeah. Kind of overwhelmed. Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for pulling this together. I know this was my request at the last meeting. Just kind of the general questions that I get from constituents are what's going on in town, particularly with growth and changes in the pipeline. So I think this is a great resource for all the residents to have a one-stop shop to figure out what's going on, when it's happening, and what the impact would be. So thank you to everyone.
I know one of the things that I do in my town quite often is I look on the town website to see which roads they're paving, because my road is obviously the worst road in town and needs to be repaved. And so that's something we could probably do a better job of putting our proposed Chapter 90 road paving schedule on the website. That does change a little bit depending on different circumstances. So for instance, Wright Road will probably not repave right away from the water main, because there's a potential for a major subdivision. We don't want to pave the road and then have a lot of construction traffic going up and down it, especially if we can get the developer to pave some of the road. So we kind of, things are a little bit dynamic, but we have a pretty good idea what the paving plan is. And we also, we could pick one part of town and spend all of our Chapter 90 money paving those streets, but I don't think it's fair to the other taxpayers in town. So we try to spread it around a little bit. So we might do something up on the like Washington Street. And now we're doing Mulberry Circle. We've done Oak and Prospect. So we kind of try to move around town and hit a lot of different streets.
Janice, any questions? I don't have any questions either. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Mr. for putting this together. It's quite interesting, and as well as helpful.
Okay, the next item. The last item on our agenda is the MS4 stormwater permit update, if I can speak. So I'll share my screen with that. All right. So I have a quick PowerPoint just to go over what we have done in year 3, what the town's done to meet its MS4 stormwater permit. So we've looked at this in the past. The MS4 permit, what is it? It's a municipal separate storm sewer system. That's what MS4 stands for. And it's basically a permitting program that's been in place by the EPA and Mass DEP to take care of stormwater discharges and make sure that they're of proper quality. So we have a new permit that's been in effect since July 1st of 2018. We're at the end of year 3. That was a typo on that last page. So the permit has basically 6 minimum control measures that we have to meet. There's different criteria under each that we have to do every year. So I'll get into what we've done under each later in the presentation. So in year 3, general requirements, we submitted an annual report for our year 2 activities. So every year we have to submit an annual report, and DEP and EPA actually look at those closely. And there was actually recently 2 towns that didn't submit their reports, and they basically got in trouble for that, and are now under not a consent order, but they've been flagged by EPA. So so they do take a close look at those reports, and as part of at the end of every year and during the year, we update our stormwater management program, our SWIMP, they call it. And basically that's our roadmap to how we're going to meet our MS4 permit. And it's a pretty thick document, which we keep posted on the webpage. So minimum control measure 1 deals with public education. So you might see a lot of messages go out through Twitter and the town Facebook. And these are our educational messages that we send out regarding stormwater. So you can see an example on here related to rain barrels that went out in April. But every year we put together a stormwater messaging plan, and you can kind of see it in the background here that I put together in a spreadsheet. And a lot of that is actually taken care of now by Central Mass Regional Stormwater Coalition, which we joined, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago. So they've been very helpful in helping us meet our permit. So minimum control measure 2 deals with public involvement. Public review and comment of the SWIMP is required every year, and that's actually out on our website right now and available for public comment. So if anyone wants to comment, go to our website, find the SWIMP under the DPW stormwater portion of the website, and you can make comment on it. We maintain our stormwater hotline, the public works line. We promote Devon's household hazardous waste collection and mercury waste collection at our facility. And an annual public update is required, which I'm giving to you today. MCM 3, minimum control measure 3, is illicit discharge detection and elimination. So anything that's not stormwater getting into our storm drain system is almost anything is an illicit discharge. So there's different criteria that we have to do, and we have an IDDE plan which we have to implement. So and this year the major thing that we did was dry weather screening, which was completed by a consultant, SDE Engineering. So they went out to all of our outfalls and checked for dry weather flow. I think there was 3 outfalls that had flow, and one of them had questionable levels of various water quality constituents. So we'll have to do some more work at that outfall to see if there is an illicit discharge upstream. Other things we do is we have an IDDE training annually and update our SSO inventory, which is sanitary sewer overflows. Minimum control measure 4 in year 3, construction site stormwater runoff control. So we updated the town bylaws that was approved at April town meeting, the NIPD's phase 2 and IDDE bylaws. And the amendments to the stormwater regulations, they're planning to be adopted by the planning board later this month. Oops. MCM 5, post-construction stormwater management. So we ensured stormwater controls meet the Massachusetts Stormwater Handbook. There wasn't too much to do on this minimum control measure in year 3. And the final minimum control measure, good housekeeping, we basically have a lot of annual requirements such as catch basin cleaning, street sweeping, and maintaining our stormwater BMP structures. You can see the rain garden at Peroni Park here, which will be, we actually have the Youth Works usually help us out in maintaining these structures too. And learning a little bit about what they do while they're doing it. So look ahead. This is actually should be year 4 look ahead. We'll begin work on items due at the end of year 4. There's really 3 main items that are not required every year. There's 3 reports / studies related to green infrastructure, impervious cover, and BMP retrofits, and how those fit into the current town regulations. And then we'll just do our typical public education messages, updating the SWIMP, continuing our IDDE plan, our year 3 annual report. And then we always do infrastructure and outfall improvements. And then on another item, which we talked about on our first agenda item today, was the stormwater asset management plan, which Ty and Bond will be assisting us with putting that together. And that'll give us a much clearer way to know what stormwater assets we should be tackling for construction improvements in the future. What are our highest priorities? So MS4 is implemented primarily in-house. We do use a consultant. We did for the dry weather sampling. And then I mentioned Central Mass Stormwater Coalition, which really been helpful with training, templates, and the public messaging, and also just general knowledge share and keeping us up to speed with what's going on in the stormwater industry. And this is just a photo of at Peroni Park. We recently installed a new sidewalk down School Street, which connects to the park. And you can see kind of where the runoffs just came off the road and eroded out the side slope here. So we installed another rain garden in that area, which has actually been pretty effective because the groundwater, I mean, the soils there are they infiltrate very well. That's the end of the presentation. Are there any questions? Oops, stop share.
No questions. Thank you.
No questions.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
That brings us to our next agenda item, which is presentation from our Director of Community and Economic Development, Alan Manoy. Hello, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight?
Great. How are you?
Wonderful.
Very well. And and by the way, it's good to see all of you in the room. Wow. And I can see your faces. Beautiful face. Okay, all right, enough of that.
Oh, my God.
All right.
That was
Okay.
flowery.
All right. Let's get into it. And I just want to say tonight, I am joined by, of course, my rock solid colleague, Alicia Hersey, the Community Development Program Manager. And we are also joined tonight by Blair Haney of the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission. It's a principal planner, and the MRPC were our partners, actually our consultants on the production of our Town of Ayer ADA self-evaluation and transition plan. So the three of us. So folks, I'll just start quickly. What we have, put before you this evening is in fact the draft plan. But what is there? There are not going to be any substantive changes to the final product. The actual final product, the plan, is due for submission to the State of Massachusetts Office on Disabilities on June 30th. No pressure on us. We live this way every day. That's cool. But we will have that final plan. But we know with your meeting schedule tonight, you will not be meeting again until July. And it is required that we do have a vote taken, hopefully in favor, of the Ayer Select Board of the draft plan. So we can in fact submit it to MOD on June 30th. And then we may come back to you for your July meeting with the final completed, and again, with no substantive changes, more of formatting changes, what we call polishing, that we could bring before you for a final vote that then we would submit, to MOD following that. So just so you get a sense of what we are asking tonight.
Yeah,
Please.
I think we have, just wanted to point this out. I think you got a typo on page 5. I think it's President George H.W. You got to add the W, so that's part of your polish.
How could I have missed the W? Good catch. Thank you. Selectman Livingston, very good. See, no detail missed, ever. All right. What is an ADA self-evaluation and transition plan? All Massachusetts municipalities, towns, and cities are required to have an approved and submitted ADA self-evaluation and transition plan. And when Alicia and myself, Dan, also, we pursue grants, and we're always successful. We tend to be with our grants. One of the questions on every state agency grant application is, do you have an approved ADA self-evaluation and transition plan? If you check off no, well, you're in a far less competitive position to win that grant. Our last completed ADA self-evaluation and transition plan was done in 2004. So we're well overdue. The state has been great working with us, but it's very important now that we do submit this new plan approved so we can go forward, not only doing the good work that we are obligated to do in terms of accessibility, but so that we can check those boxes off on our grant applications, you know, and be highly competitive. Now, the plan, and I'll go over to Blair in a second, 2 components. And even when I went into this process, and I am not an expert by any means on ADA, although through this process, it's been a very consciousness raising an opportunity to really have a deeper understanding. Most of us just think, well, Alan, it's about, you know, these architectural barriers, these physical barriers in buildings, our municipal buildings, or, you know, in getting into the building, stairways, where counter levels are set in terms of height, all these physical things. That is half of this, a very important part of it, but the other half that we've really had some consciousness raising are all the policies, programs, the actual, not the physical stuff, the communication-based aspects of accessibility, our policies, meaning job descriptions. What type of lexicon and language are we using in our job descriptions? When it comes to policies, do we have a very clear ADA accommodation policy right now? Well, the fact is we don't, but that is what we're working on and will have. Just in terms of the way our departments are functioning, signage inside the buildings. It's all, oh my God, the one big thing I forgot. In 2004, websites were coming on strong, but now we know most business and the way people are communicating with each other and getting information is web-based on our website. There's a lot that needs to be enhanced on our municipal website in terms of ADA accessibility, communications, policies. We need to have a separate just ADA page on our website. We do have a page currently for our Commission on Disabilities, but if you go and look at it, there's really just a policy statement there. So it's going to be these parts. Our polling places. Are folks able to fully access our polling places? Physically, yes, but do we have the right equipment for folks that maybe do not have sight, perhaps that are deaf? So it gets into these communication, these assistance devices. So it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. It's actually great stuff. What I'm going to do right now, though, I want to just go over to Blair from Montechusett Region, because it was Blair and his colleague Jonathan Voss and John Hume, senior planner, that went out. I think, Blair, you guys were out doing the actual inspections of our municipal buildings. I think it was last July, August.
Yes, Alan, that's correct.
Yes. So yeah, maybe. Yeah, please.
John Hume and Jonathan Voss did the physical inspections of your buildings and your parks. The parks was limited. The scope was limited to the parking lot and access from the parking lot into the park, not so much the park features itself. And then the buildings were all the buildings, starting from the parking lot, access way into the building, how did the door operate, bathrooms, just anything that was publicly accessible. But all physical, as Alan described, as programs and policies and stuff that's different. That wasn't part of our scope. Our scope was physical. So we took pictures, we documented. We have extensive Excel spreadsheets that kept track of all this stuff. And then the report that you have in front of you is like boiling all that down to a narrative form and a table form for easy legibility. So I can answer questions on that section of it. Alan can obviously speak to the other parts, but yes, that's essentially what the project and the scope was.
And I'll just add to what Blair said. So with all that data, the measurements, all that that our colleagues at MRPC got, this then was provided to our building commissioner, zoning minister, Charlie Schultz. And Charlie's been doing, oh my goodness, great work the last 2 weeks. So he is going through then, citing the actual regulatory sightings on that, and then placing a dollar figure, a cost figure on, what the cost would be then to correct that, to take corrective action on it. We know, everybody, that our town, any town or city, does not have the financial means to address all these at once. So we're going to have to, once we get, and what this is, and by the way, some folks, got a little, questioning, well, Alan, is we done something wrong? Is this sort of citing, what we've done? No. What this is simply going out, identifying, articulating, what the deficiencies are, and then we will lay out a schedule together on what are the priorities, just like we do with the master plan. What are the priorities that need to be addressed first? What needs to be funded first? And then let's lay out a schedule for how we can feasibly fund these things through time. I tell you all, our sidewalk system in Ayer, 90% of our sidewalks are non-ADA compliant right now. That's going to take millions of dollars through the years, to slowly correct. So we do that through time. So we provided you the draft. We feel very good. And by the way, we have reformed the Ayer Disabilities Commission because the commission had gone dormant, really, for probably, the last 6, 7 or more years. We have brand new members. We're pleased to say 2 of them are actually professional ADA compliance officers in the private sector. So we have good new folks. So everybody, we feel we have a good product. We're ready, if you're comfortable with what we have, for you to vote, on the draft plan. We will have the final plan ready for submission to MOD for June the 30th. And then we'll follow up with you folks in July. And we feel quite confident we have a very good self-evaluation and transition plan. And it will put us well. And I will say, Robert Pomprion, our town manager, is our official ADA coordinator. And Robert does a good job always, consistently, month after month since I've been here, to remind us of our obligations of it. And so, we feel very good that Robert, as always, will be our shepherd, and we'll get the team together, and we'll achieve everything in that plan.
Alan,
Yes, sir.
thank you for those kind words and for the presentation.
Thank you.
If I could, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So obviously this evening, we're respectfully recommending that you vote to approve the draft as Alan has requested. And we're very pleased, all the work that Alan, MRPC, all of our departments have put into it. We're very excited through Alan's efforts that we have the Disability Commission in place. We have a grievance policy in place. Through this exercise and working with Cindy, for example, in IT, we've learned a lot of other areas that need to be addressed under ADA. And the last thing, just to stress what Alan mentioned, we will put together a schedule and then working with the board, capital planning, finance committee, begin to prioritize those. And we envision potentially coming to capital planning to address some of those critical areas. But as Alan mentioned, no town is 100%. And no town is expected to get there, in one fell swoop, but we're making great progress. So if there are questions on the report from the board, we'd be happy to take those, and we'd be looking for your vote of support.
Any questions?
Work back the questions.
I don't have any questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the board approve the draft ADA self-evaluation and transition plan with the noted comments.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait, you do the roll call.
I know, I keep tripping over it. Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Blair, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right. The next item is the town manager's report. The shepherd's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening, and it's great to be back in person after 15 months. Look forward to continuing to work with you and moving forward as we go through this next phase of the transition. Under the administrative update, you have the town warrants that were reviewed and approved since the board last met. And in the interest of time, I just wanted to highlight a couple things that we've been working on since the board last met. One is we're in the process of doing all of the departmental evaluations, the annual evaluations. And the two key takeaways this year, one is always the goals that we set for the year ahead. And I know the board started this discussion, and when we meet in July, I'd like to discuss some of the goals from my perspective as well. But from that, I'll have more information when you meet in July from the different departments. I asked them, for three to five major goals for the department to accomplish within the next year. Now, granted, last year's goals, it was a unique year. Some of those will have to be revisited. The other thing I've asked all departments to do, department heads in the evaluation, which is new this time, is to give some thought to and prepare to discuss what the impacts of COVID have been on their position and or their department. Because though we're moving in the right direction, I think we can all agree there are a lot of lessons learned and still being learned during COVID. And there are some changes that are, I think, going to be with us for some time, if not permanently. So after I complete that in the next 2 weeks, that process will be prepared to discuss with the board in July. Year-end finances remain in good shape. The budgets all remain on target. We do appreciate your consideration momentarily on a RFT for the IT department, but everything looks on target. Our revenues at this time also remain on target. Talking to the treasurer, tax collector, there's been no deviation yet as we've been monitoring that weekly. So that's good news. The last piece, as we've discussed at the buy board, the ARPA money, the American Recovery Funds, remains still a work in progress. We know that we're getting between 2.2 and 2.8 million. We have yet to finalize that. And also the guidelines have yet to be fully produced on what it can be used for. However, the first 800,000 of that money is available to apply for to be dispersed to the town. So the finance manager has started that process, but we still need to get some more information. And as we discussed with the buy board here, we'll be coming back to the board to discuss the uses of that funding moving forward. It's just been frustrating for everybody that the guidelines are not clear on that. Lastly, the 88 plan, excellent news. We're preparing the implementation of all of the capital projects that were approved at town meeting for the year ahead. And as presented tonight, there is a lot of different projects, infrastructure and development projects, as you see underway in the town. Lastly, in terms of the senior center council on aging, as the board is aware, the director will be retiring on July 2nd. Myself and Mr. Johnston, the benefits and payroll manager, have been working with the director weekly to put together a transition plan, which I'm going to be updating the COA board of directors on. Going to send the update tomorrow and then be meeting with them. Our goal of the interim plan is to ensure that the core functions of the COA continue to operate, which they are, while we start the search process. We will be advertising the position starting on June 17th through July 9th. We are going to have the COA board of directors play a role in the vetting and review of the applications, as well as the interview process. I've asked Mr. Johnson to head that up along with Ms. Antonellis, that vetting process. And we're hopeful that by the end of July, beginning of August, we will have a candidate. We have some work to do there. And so in the interim, we are developing the plan. It's ongoing to keep the core functions operating during this interim period. So I will have a more detailed update for the board in July. Also, there is an event with the fire department next Friday, the COA, the the senior center sponsoring down at the fire station, a spring fling. I think it's a pasta dinner. So we're slowly moving in the right direction. Lastly, on the administrative update, as I communicated to the board, but for the public's benefit, the state certified the Catania Spania TIF yesterday. That was approved by a town meeting. It was unanimously certified by the Economic Advisory Council. So what happens now is they're required each year to file a report with the Economic Coordinating Council. We get a copy of it. And as I mentioned at town meeting, they're required to meet those various benchmarks on job creation and so forth. If they don't, the board will have the report, and either the Economic Council on the state end, or if the select board should choose, could meet with the company on an issue of non-compliance, which I don't think is going to be an issue with Catania, but just to explain the process. So that was good news on that front. Next item on the COVID-19 update, the town hall reopening update. I hope this is my last one.
We're open.
Yeah, we're open. Carly said to me earlier, I believe this is your last one. We reopened on June 1st, as the board knows. The state of emergency ended this morning at 12:01. And for the up until today, we were still asking folks to wear masks. At this time, we're encouraging folks to wear masks, but masks are not required by employees or members of the public visiting town buildings inside or outside. This is based on CDC guidance. We do have some, the other piece is CDC guidance says if you're not vaccinated, they strongly recommend wearing a mask. The reopening has been going relatively smooth. We're just asking everybody's patience and understanding on the mask issues as we move forward. The waterfront has opened successfully, from what I'm told from Mr. Thomas of Parks and Rec. The library opened today on June 15th. They're taking the liberty of at least a 2-week period also with the masks like we did. We understand at the library they're not required, but they're asking folks to as they edge back in. Also, they have a lot of minors that are not eligible to be vaccinated. So again, we ask patience on that front. The last piece is the open meetings, which remains a little bit in flux. With the end of the state of emergency, the emergency provisions of the open meeting law sunsetted at 12:01 this morning. So as of right now, there is pending legislation that has not passed both houses yet, and it's unclear whether there'll be an extension or so forth. So the takeaway is this: public bodies such as the select board, Board of Health, Planning Board are now required to go back to in-person meetings. So the members of those public bodies need to be in person with the staff. However, we're still going to offer a hybrid option, meaning the public for now can participate through Zoom, but they can also participate in person. And as I stressed to all boards and committees, you cannot prevent the public now from coming to in-person meetings. So we're back to the old pre-COVID situation, with the added piece right now that we still are offering Zoom to the public to participate. The last caveat you saw on your agenda, we're asking everybody to print this anew. The chairs don't have to read this. This new statement on recommendation from town council just explains for those participating by Zoom, if there's a technological failure, it does not invalidate the meeting. So again, we're offering this, as a service, as a courtesy as we move forward. But so folks participating on Zoom just understand if it should fail, because the body is in person, the public body, and the public can physically access, the meeting is still valid. We will keep you updated as we anticipate the legislature will pass something, and the governor will sign probably in the next week. So that's just an update. But the takeaway is we are reopened. It's going well. And it's good to be reopened. So thank you to everybody. And as I always say, thank you to the public for your patience. The third item, the action items for tonight, to get to those. The first is I have 2 appointments for tonight. I'm respectfully recommending that the select board appoint Ms. Carolyn McCreary of Ayer to the Ayer Council on Aging COA Board of Directors for the balance of a 3-year term to expire on June 30th of 2022. And Carolyn is here this evening.
Should we have her speak? Do a speech?
Sure.
No, I don't know. It's just that transition time for the air COA, so I thought I could use, I would use my experience being on board, knowing a little bit about the town to help the transition period.
No, I think it's great. It's also nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you.
I know, right?
Wow.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion to the board appoint Ms. Carolyn McCreary to the Air Council of Aging Board of Directors for the balance of the 3-year term to expire on June 30th, 2022.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
The second appointment, I respectfully recommend that the select board appoint Mr. James Stephen of Ayer to the Air Affordable Housing Committee for the balance of a 3-year term to expire on June 30th of 2022. Many members of the board know Mr. Stephen is on the Capital Planning Committee and is a commissioner of trust funds. He has met with the Affordable Housing Committee, expressed interest. Ms. Provadakis, the chair, and the committee unanimously recommend him as well. So I think he'll be a good addition.
There's no questions, I'll entertain a motion on that one as well.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. James Stephen to the Air Affordable Housing Committee for the balance of a 3-year term to expire on June 30th, 2022.
Seconded.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you. Item 4 of the 2021 reappointments, Part 2. The board did the lion's share last meeting, which was Part 1, and a special thanks to Ms. Antonellis for coordinating all of the reappointments, putting together the memos, contacting everyone. So this is Part 2. In the interest of time, just a few. There are 2 reappointments to the town's Energy Committee, Mr. Ken Diskin for 3 years, Ms. Carolyn McCreary for 3 years. The Industrial Development Finance Authority, Mr. Francis P. Callahan, 5-year term. The Tree Warden, Mark Dixon, a 3-year appointment term. Zoning Board of Appeals, Mr. John Ellis, 3 years. Zoning Board of Appeals, Ron DiFilippo, 3 years. So all these individuals have expressed that they'd like to be reappointed for these terms, and I recommend respectfully that the board vote to do so.
Any questions? No questions? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the select board approve the reappointments of the members that were just that are outlined in the packet and read by the
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Unanimous.
And then, Mr. Chair, whatever the pleasure, obviously, of the board is, in the interest of time, as Ms. Antonis put in the memo and we discussed briefly last time, the board needs to decide on its various representatives to certain committees, for example, capital planning, executive buy board, Montechusett transportation, rate review, and OPEB. So again, it's really for the board, for the 3 of you to decide if you want to do that tonight, or I would say no later than July. But-
Well, the last time we met, we said we'd do it
Right,
tonight.
so-
Ms. Antonellis is kind of pushing.
Yeah.
to do it.
My database would be complete if we did
Oh.
it.
No pressure.
No.
Ask you what's going on.
Yeah.
So Capital Planning Committee, this last cycle was represented by select member Hood.
Continue.
I'm
Thoughts?
fine continuing if someone else wants to step up. I'm more than happy to give that opportunity. So
I'm okay with it.
I'll remain.
Executive Buy Board, representative was select member Hood this past year.
Same, I'd like to stay, but if anyone else wants the opportunity, I don't want to stay in that.
Yeah, I think you should stay.
Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee, MJTC.
That's me. isn't it? Yes.
Select member Copeland represented this past year.
I'm fine with staying also.
Did you actually have a meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
So sometimes I get confused because it's also the MRPC. But I'm happy to stay
so it's the MJTC and the MRPC.
Yeah.
What's the MRPC?
Montezut Regional Planning Commission, and this is the Montezut Joint Transportation.
When do they meet?
The Thursdays afternoons at like 3 for the transportation committee. Wednesdays, and then MRPC is Thursday nights. But I just was made secretary of MRPC, so I should probably stay on that
Yeah, we
one.
don't want to take that away.
So probably stay on that one.
Just curious.
He's like official.
I
Yeah.
know, right? They give him a title.
So you're gonna stay.
Sure, I'll stay there.
Rate Review Committee was represented by Select Board Member Janice Livingston.
You're interested in giving that one up, weren't you?
Yeah, last year I was, and then I get little tossed. No, I get up.
Okay.
No, somebody else is giving up their.
Yeah.
Why, somebody want it?
No. I just, if you didn't want it, I was gonna say, but. it's a
Okay, so
fantastic job.
let me ask, this. Do you want it?
No.
Okay. All right, then you're not getting it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then last but not least is the OPEB Board of Trustees, the Post-Employment Benefits Board of Trustees, which was Select Member Copeland this past year.
That needs to like 5 minutes.
Yes, yeah. And I'm happy staying on it. Nobody else. It's dying to get on there.
Yeah. The one that I think might be missing is the MRPC, so the planning board selected a rep, which is Jeff Tillotson, I want to say.
But he was just saying that he's doing the.
Yeah, so I gotta chase that down tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow and see what's what. I think we can have two.
Yes, there was
One-
supposed to be an alternate. I
Yeah.
think there's one voting member and one alternate.
Perfect. All right, we'll follow up on that tomorrow, but we'll include it.
Okay, so you might need one of us to be an alternate.
No, I think it was one, well, I'm not exactly sure, but I remember last year it was one board member and then it could be one, the alternate could be, I think anybody in town, like as in like, could be an employee or.
Right.
I'll clarify that tomorrow and follow up with you guys.
Mr. Chair, you'd just be looking for a vote to approve that slate for the record.
All right, so I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that all the appointments be approved as discussed.
I have a second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. The next item is a proposed town hall minor change of hours, proposed town hall change of hours in your packet. So for the last 7 years, since 2014, we've had the schedule for the select board of Monday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to provide evening hours, 8 a.m. to 4 on Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 4 on Thursday, and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday for a total of 40 hours. We're proposing a slight change, which it'd still be 40 hours a week open to the public, so there's no change there. But on the Tuesday, instead of 8 a.m. to 7, going 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then Friday, instead of 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We did do a survey, as all surveys are not unanimous, but the majority, in terms of from an employee perspective, would prefer that. Also, in checking with the major window service departments, treasurer, tax collector, town clerk, and our office, the majority of the evening, even before COVID, and we monitored this, the majority of the evening hours of service between 4 and 6 p.m. and then from 6 to 7 is sort of a drop off. So it's a minor adjustment, sort of getting away from an 11-hour day on Tuesday with this 10-hour and adding an hour on Friday for maybe folks that need to catch people the weekend. So we're respectfully proposing your consideration for that hour change. It doesn't change the hours of service. It just takes the 1 hour off on the Tuesday and adds it to the Friday, and that would be effective July 1st.
was there any, was the union in support of it, or?
Yes, I did contact the town hall clerical union and they did not have any objections, and that was what the town.
Any other questions?
Seems straightforward.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on it then.
I'll make a motion to adjust the town hall hours as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
And we'll do the appropriate outreach. Item number 6, through the chair, I'm going to turn over to Ms. Antonellis, the assistant town manager, and there's a memo she prepared in the packet, and this has to do with available beer and wine licenses and a proposed process for the board to consider. So, Antonellis.
Thank you, Robert. So as it states in your packet, we've had since the vineyard moved to a full alcohol license by town meeting vote and then the state legislature. We do have a beer and wine license available. We have had 3 interested parties. I got a 4th today. We've never actually had this issue where we've had multiple. Usually it's first come, first serve. But where we didn't have one, I had a list going of people that had contacted. So I vetted, I researched it, I talked with town council. This process that I'm proposing is based off the city of Leominster's process. So how we're proposing it is I'd like to advertise the availability of the license through July 2nd. We would receive letters of interests. And then we would have a preliminary review on the letters of interest by the department heads. Then we would invite all interested parties to the July 14th selectmen's meeting to hear, additional information about the license. And then the select board at that meeting, based on the presentations and the letters of interest, would invite one interested party to apply. Then we would start the regular process, which, as we know, is 2-step. It would start here and then go to the state for approval. The benefit of doing it this way, now we know we have 4 interested parties. The application process is so lengthy, and it does cost some money to fill out, notify abutters, public hearing in the newspaper. So this way we can kind of get a sense and what you guys will determine based on the ad, I provided, and it's gone through town council, and you've seen some comments from town council. This board just has to consider what will best serve the public need. So we could hear those presentations on the 14th and then take it from there. The only question I have in advertising, I'm really ready to go. I have the 4 people that have contacted us, and I was going to reach out to them directly if this was approved tomorrow. But I didn't know if it was worth it if anyone thought to put it in the newspaper. So it would run for about, it would be a week. And then what newspaper? Did you want to do it in Neshoba Valley Voice? I could get it in for next Friday, and then that would be a week in that paper as like a display ad. You don't have to, but I don't know. I have the list of interested folks, so.
Very 4 for one license.
Yeah. But again, my thought was like opening it up to as many
I feel
people.
it should be, even though we have 4, it should be a public process.
But it's not required. But it's still a public process.
Yeah, I just, with some folks that aren't necessarily on the web page or on social media, I thought it was a good counter to that. So I could have a ad run once next week in the Neshoba Valley Voice. And I would have it run as a display ad, not a legal ad that's this big. You know what I mean?
So what would the display ad be?
Just the same thing. It's just they put it on a different page and it's a little bit bigger.
Well, I know that, but I mean, what's it going to say?
What's in the packet, the last page, just what's available. I'll probably shorten it obviously down for the newspaper, so we don't have to pay $5,000 for it. But I'll condense what I have on that last page of my memo. I was just looking for some, obviously, approval of that process, which again, that has been vetted by town council, and was looking for people's thoughts on the newspaper.
I'm leaning towards yes on the newspaper.
I think the newspaper's not necessary, so. But I don't think the newspaper is necessary, because obviously people find out. Because the person who wants to go in business, they're gonna contact town hall. It doesn't matter if they're on social media, they're gonna contact town hall, because they need to contact town hall anyways as a business to find out what they need. So that's why I think the newspaper is necessary.
I think I would prefer the newspaper because not, depending on the timing, when someone wants to go into business, they may not realize that there's a license available now, that the process is July, and it's on July 2nd with the deadline for submission. So I think getting that out there publicly for the general public is more beneficial than just relying on social media. And then if someone comes in after the fact, accused of not being fully transparent in the process.
No, because we discussed it here, so let's go back to the public. I mean, that's not, I'm just saying, because we discussed it in the public too. It's all been on the after, so.
So you're looking for a motion to approve the process you want us to include whether or not to.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed process of the beer wine license, including advertising in the newspaper.
Second it, but I don't like how the motion is written, because now if I say no, I'm saying no to the process also. So I need to modify the motion. Two separate motions.
So I'll make a motion, so I'll modify my motion to run the advertisement for the open beer and wine license in the newspaper. Just the newspaper.
I'll second it. I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Can I just ask
Oh,
a clarifying question?
Yes.
When you just said just the newspaper only, but we're still doing it on the website and social media.
I knew what he meant.
Okay,
Just-
I'm just
Yeah,
clarifying, okay.
The advertising.
Right.
Yeah, this is strictly, I guess, the
To separate
discussion
them.
point around running it in the newspaper.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
So long as it's- Right, now the motion.
Now the motion.
Process.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the available beer wine license process as presented.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then lastly, per the amendment of the agenda, number 7 is a reserve fund transfer for the information technology department. The amount requested is $14,000 to be transferred to the information technology account 01166. The present balance in the budget is $9,649.01. The amount requested will be used for the outstanding invoices on hand and the estimated wages and expenses through June 30th of 2021. The expense is extraordinary or unforeseen for the following reason. The IT director was out on sick leave for several weeks, requiring unforeseen use of the Drive Tech technical support consultant. Ms. Knox, the director, is also here this evening. And if I could just add, in addition to this request, the IT department has done an excellent job this year. All things that Cindy and I, and Carly and others never foreseen we would have to do a year ago. And the reserve fund, that's really the unique driver from it. As you can see from the accounting from the finance manager, we estimate it'll probably be $13,686, but we're asking for $14,000, just as a slight buffer. If that's not needed, it will revert back to the reserve fund.
I don't even think the IT department's ever asked for it.
first year I was here, I think.
Oh,
No, typically we don't.
Yeah, so-
So, I mean,
This is
rely on
rare.
a lot of outside support this year.
Yeah.
You know, we had to set up 12 remote people. Store line inside a lot of buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions? Comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that the board approve the reserve fund transfer in the amount of $14,000 for account name information technology, account number 01166. And it's presented by the town manager.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it passes.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're usually behind the scenes. You do a lot of work, right?
It's fun.
And Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions from members of the board, that concludes my report. As always, thank you for the time and your consideration.
There was nothing listed under new business or board member questions. Okay, then next up is approval of meeting minutes from May 18th. I didn't see any changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes on May 18th, 2021 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda items.
All right, so, Mr. Chair, I make motion that the select board move into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 121A. Exemption number 2, non-union contract negotiations, assessing administrator, police chief. To do so, to negotiate in public by our negotiating strategy. And also that the select board will adjourn from executive session, will not enter open session.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, and we're